everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. That base houses thousands of U.S. troops, but there aren't any reports of casualties as of right now. The retaliatory strikes come less than 48 hours after the U.S. hit 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. This escalation has dramatic consequences for international peace.
That's right.
Let's turn now to our Conan Nolan with more on this breaking news and perhaps some next steps here. Conan?
That's right. The Al Udeid military base in Qatar. It's the largest U.S. base in the Middle East. It is also home to the U.S. Central Command in that region. They had anticipated this, quite frankly, and all the U.S. Assets in the entire region were on high alert. Keep in mind, the Iranian government does not have the missile capability to reach the mainland or to Europe, but they can inflict damage in areas around their country, and including targeting U.S. bases. What we have seen thus far is that this was, as you just heard from NBC News, this seemed to be optics more than anything else. There are some who believe that the Iranian government needs to respond in order to show for the internal politics of the Iranian leadership, to show their people that they are responding, that this regime is in control, that they have a military might. The fact of the matter is that they didn't hit anything with these missile attacks. They were intercepted by it's their version of an Iron Dome. There are various anti-missile defense systems that are employed, but this was mostly for show. And we talked with one member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, that's Congressman Brad Sherman of Sherman Oaks, who said just yesterday he anticipated this because he does not believe it's in Iran's best interest to kill an American soldier.
It's not in Iran's interest to kill American soldiers. They may find it politically necessary to fire some missiles at American bases. But I think that 98% of its offensive capacity will be turned on Israel. They still have a lot of ballistic missiles. They can still hit Israel, and I'm sure they will. But hitting American soldiers, even the death of 1 or 2 of our service people, would bring America more into conflict with Iran.
That's Congressman Brad Sherman of Sherman Oaks, member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee for the past 30 years. And the New York Times reporting that Qatar was actually informed by the Iranian leadership of this attack, which gives you an idea as to the symbolism here. These are the skies over that region currently. The other aspect to all this is the fact that the Iranian government has plenty still to lose. There are all sorts of their financial assets, including their oil delivery systems, have not been touched by the attacks by the Israeli government or the United States. And so they have still skin in the game that could cause them some deep, deep economic pain. They don't want to see that happen. The big question, though, is whether or not they will attempt to mine the Strait of Hormuz, that 90-mile narrow channel which connects the Persian Gulf with the rest of the world, essentially, that could cut off oil supplies through that channel and drive up oil prices here dramatically here at home. That's what they're concerned about here, certainly at the White House. Back to you.
Conan, we mentioned that there have been no U.S. casualties. Any indication that this event will be ongoing?
Well, we can assume, as the congressman said just a moment ago, that there will be continued attacks on Israel. But they have to be very careful about attacking U.S. bases. Remember, this was a strike that the United States conducted with one specific purpose, and that was these 3 different areas where they are refining and producing, ostensibly, the administration said, a nuclear weapon. The U.S. doesn't want any more part of that. They went in, they got out, and I think the Trump administration does not want to extend the American influence in this influence in this war with Israel. However, if U.S. personnel end up dying in a retaliatory attack by the Iranians, that opens the floodgates to not just more U.S. air attacks, but to possibly boots on the ground. The Iranian government, based on everybody we've talked to, does not want that to happen.
All right, Conan Nolan live on our newsroom. More to come on this. Appreciate it. Thank you.